Okay, so picture this. A dating show where the drama is completely unscripted. The audience can literally change the rules on a whim, and the host is the streamer DDG. Well, that show is Are You My Ball, and we're about to break down a moment where the entire competition got flipped on its head. So what is a YouTuber's dating show actually like? Yeah, you can forget about traditional reality TV. We're talking about a 24/7 stream where, honestly, chaos is kind of the whole point, and one single elimination ceremony was about to upend the entire show.
So let's set the scene. You've got 16 women, all in a mansion, all competing for DDG's attention. But here's the catch. On this one particular night, there are only 11 spots available to move forward. So yeah, the pressure's on.
You can do the math on that one. 5 women are about to get sent home in one single, pretty brutal elimination.
So, how did this all go down? Let's get right into it and break down this high-stakes elimination as it happened live.
The process itself feels almost like a dramatic sports draft, you know? If you're safe, you get to step over into the green zone. But if you're out, you have to give back your championship ring, and then you get traded to this mysterious second house they call the G League.
So what does it take to stay in the game? Well, for one contestant, Coco, it was actually pretty simple. Effort. DDG made a point of saying she was putting in the work and, maybe more importantly, staying out of all the drama. And that was enough to keep her safe.
For another contestant, Bronx, it was all about that emotional connection. And this really highlights a key part of the game, doesn't it? When thousands of people are watching you on a live stream, being vulnerable becomes this incredibly valuable currency.
Okay, so after 9 women were told they were safe, the tension in the room was just wow. It all came down to this one final difficult choice between the last 2 women on the chopping block. So on one side, you have Thick, who was apparently manipulated by another contestant into creating some drama, and on the other side, you've got Undertaker, who was getting called out for being too confrontational. So what's worse, being a little naive or being a little aggressive? Only one of them could stay.
And in a pretty shocking move, Thick got eliminated. DDG's reasoning was just brutal. He basically said, look, even though you were tricked, the fact that you were the only one who fell for it, well, that's a deal breaker. The message here is crystal clear. In this game, naivete gets punished way more harshly than confrontation does. But as a totally devastated Thick was saying her goodbyes, DDG drops this little cryptic hint. It was a really small moment, but it was a huge clue that the game was about to change in a massive way.
And that little hint brings us to the show's biggest twist yet. This was the moment that proved that in this world, getting eliminated is definitely not the end of the story.
So, just as the eliminated women were on their way out, DDG drops a bombshell announcement. For them, the competition was not over.
So what happened? Well, the viewers happened. The stream had just hit the subscriber goal of 35,000, and as a reward, DDG decided to bring back everyone who had just been eliminated. This is the real power of a live audience. They can literally change the game in real time.
And this is the G League. What everyone thought was just a holding area for eliminated players, well, it was suddenly a comeback stage. All 9 women who were out of the running were suddenly back in the mix, fighting for just 2 spots to get back into the main house.
But this twist didn't just bring back some familiar faces. It completely changed the fundamentals of how the game was even played. The show now runs on a point system, almost like a video game. Contestants earn points for doing things that DDG likes, and they can actually spend those points on strategic advantages. Like for 20 points, you can bring a friend back from the G League for a day. It's a total shift from just subjective feelings to a quantifiable strategic leaderboard. And we saw this new system play out perfectly during the talent show. Winning wasn't just about impressing DDG anymore, it was about getting high scores from the judges. And the prize for winning was huge, a one-on-one date and, more importantly, total immunity from the next elimination.
So, this is the new reality of the show. In just a few hours, the whole thing went from a pretty simple dating competition to this complex, strategic game where elimination means nothing. And the audience, well, they seem to hold all the cards.
Which really leaves us with this one big final question. In this new era of live, interactive entertainment, is the power in the hands of the host, the contestants, or the thousands of viewers at home who can rewrite the entire show with just the click of a button?